Hello friends, so today I want to talk to you guys about using some ancient wisdom and applying that to our modern diets, particularly when it comes to supporting the health of our gut. I am sure you have all heard a lot about gut health over the last several years, and that is for good reason. I'm going to talk to you all about what exactly the gut is, what it's made up of, what all of the roles it plays in your body, and when you understand just how much the gut does, you understand that gut health really is whole body health. So it is so worth having that knowledge so that you can apply it to your daily life, what you're eating, so that you can support the healthiest gut possible. And what's really cool about gut health is you can actually transform it through food, which is great because I don't know about you, but I love to eat. I love food. I really get a lot of satisfaction out of eating. So anytime you can completely create a 180 health-wise just by eating certain delicious foods, I mean, who doesn't want that? And when you look at ancestral diets, there is so much wisdom that we can glean, and they were a lot more intentional about supporting their gut health, whether it was advertent or inadvertent, just the way that they had to preserve certain foods, but we'll get into that. When it comes to supporting gut health, what you eat, what your diet is composed of, plays a huge role. And there are certain foods that are going to directly support the microbiome or the lining of your gut. But in general, just consuming a real food diet that is rich with nourishing foods is really going to help your gut, but also your health overall. And for me, that means sourcing high quality food and cooking a lot of the meals ourselves. So I like having a well-stocked pantry. And one of my favorite ways to keep our whole foods pantry stocked in a way that's easy and also affordable is by ordering from Thrive Market. I love Thrive Market for a lot of different reasons. One of them is they just have the highest quality standards in the industry. They have over 1,000 ingredients that they do not allow in the products that they sell. It's truly high quality, real food that you would find at your local health food store, but at lower prices. It's more affordable, it comes straight to your door, and if your order is over $49, it ships free. So it's just such an easy way to stock up on real food staples at lower prices. Their website is super easy to shop. They have all different kinds of categories that help you narrow down to find what you're looking for. So if you have food allergies in your family or certain dietary restrictions, it's really easy to narrow it down to find what you want. The buy again feature is my personal favorite because it just makes it so easy to reorder the things I already know I love from Thrive and want to order again. I typically stock up on wholesome pantry staples that I'm going to be using in my everyday cooking. I also like to grab a few just simple, clean ingredient snacks that I can give to my kids. I know that their products have just simple, wholesome ingredients I can trust, and you can also look at the ingredients right on the website on every page, which is so much easier than trying to read in the grocery store when you've got kids climbing on you. So if you guys want to shop Thrive Market, you can click the link in my description box below, or just go to thrivemarket.com/Becca Bristow. That's going to give you 30% off your first order plus a free gift worth up to $60 if you join today. So if you want to improve your gut health and therefore improve whole body health through food, first you have to understand just the basics of what exactly the gut is and what it does. So quick little overview. I like to look at the gut as having two main pillars of function. Pillar number one is your microbiome, which is that, we hope, rich, very diverse colony of microbes in your intestines, particularly your large intestine. And this is what we consider your good bacteria. And these good bacteria play many important roles, one being that they are immunoregulatory. You may have heard that most of your immune system is in your gut, and that is true. So your gut microbiome will ward off infections, they will actually regulate your immune cells, and they will keep bad bacteria from colonizing and taking over the gut. They can also help maintain your intestinal barrier, so they are very much your frontline defense when it comes to protecting your body from any kind of infections or bad microorganisms. They also play roles in digestion, especially when it comes to complex carbohydrates. They can also even synthesize certain vitamins, specifically vitamin K. This happens in your large intestine. So there's a lot going on. It's a big job. It's a very active, demanding, area of your body, and it's one that needs your active support. Poor diet, stress, antibiotics, these are all things that can hinder or even wipe out that beneficial colony of bacteria in your gut. So we want to be so intentional about supporting it to build it up, make it diverse, have it really flourish so that it can really carry out all those roles optimally. Pillar number 2 is your actual GI or gastrointestinal barrier, so AKA the lining or the walls of your intestines. This is a very unique area of the body because it is so rich in tissue. It's not actually just a flat wall or lining. It's actually, if you imagine like a slinky, that is more what your lining looks like. It actually has all of these little mini folds so that you have a massive increase in surface area, and therefore a massive increase in the area that your body can be diffusing certain things, absorbing certain things, so that you can get all of what you need from the food that you're eating. So this is where the actual uptake of nutrients from food takes place. There's also a host of immune cells in this lining. So again, it has immunoregulatory roles. So not only are there actual immune cells there as kind of your border patrol, but the lining and the strength of that lining and just how tightly bound it is very important to be a physical barrier to, again, things that like bad bacteria that would try and get into your bloodstream. And just like we can eat certain foods to support the bacteria colony, we can also eat certain foods to actually bolster up the strength of that intestinal lining and that slinky. Another huge aspect of your GI barrier, and this is one that is lesser known, is it contains what is considered your enteric nervous system, not your central nervous system, your enteric nervous system. There's actually a huge network of neurons in your gut. It's the second largest amount of neurons in one area next to your brain. And what's really cool is your enteric nervous system and your central nervous system talk to each other. Our emotions and cognition is directly connected to our gut through what's called the gut-brain axis. For example, if you've ever gotten really nervous about something and then all of a sudden you have diarrhea, that is this connection at play. So how we feel emotionally can actually impact the function of our gut. But this also works vice versa. So meaning our guts can talk to our brain. So our microbiome can actually impact our brain chemistry, our endocrine system. So it can literally impact the way that we feel, the stress or anxiety we have going on. It has major implications in how we feel. It's not just digestion. And that is why I tell you guys that gut health does not just stay in your gut. It really is whole body health. It has far-reaching effects to how we feel, well outside of just what's going on in our gut, just our digestion, which is why this is an area of your body that you want to actively support. And like I said, you can do it through food, which is awesome. You can also, easy button, is to take a probiotic supplement. There are some great high quality probiotics out there, and it's one of those things where it doesn't hurt, it can only help. So you can absolutely take it. However, that being said, the way that the capsules are created and the time spent on the shelf can really impact how many live bacteria are actually still alive by the time they get down into your gut. So while a probiotic certainly can't hurt, and I'm for a probiotic, I do still think it's important to get your probiotics from food, and there are a lot of different options. And these foods can be purchased at your local grocery store or they can be made at home. Either way is a viable option. You're gonna save money when you're making them at home, but regardless, they're widely available. First up, we have yogurt, which is probably one of the most common everyday fermented foods. It can be found anywhere. You can eat it in different ways. You can just eat it straight up. You can add things to it. You can include it in recipes. You can also make yogurt at home pretty easily. If you have an Instant Pot, it's very, very simple to make yourself. You can either buy yogurt cultures to keep in your freezer every time you want to bake a batch. You really don't have to do that. You can even just use a plain yogurt bought from the store. As long as it says contains live active cultures, you're good to go. And you can use that as your starter culture. You're just going to add that to the milk in your Instant Pot and let it sit. The Instant Pot literally has a yogurt setting. It could not be any easier. And that is going to turn it into yogurt. And yogurt contains live active bacteria. So when you're consuming that yogurt, those bacteria are getting down into your gut. They're going to help, they're going to colonize, and then they're going to help diversify and really bolster up your microbiome. And to take it up a notch, you could also consume milk kefir, which is very similar to yogurt. It's basically like drinkable yogurt. It's just a little bit more liquidy. And the cool thing about kefir is it actually has way more of those live active cultures. It's just much stronger than your average yogurt. Milk kefir can be purchased at the store. You can buy it plain, you can buy it flavored. You can also make it yourself at home, which is a much more economical option because you can buy milk kefir grains one time and then you use them over and over and over. You just keep the process going, or if you need to pause, you can store them briefly in your refrigerator or even longer in your freezer. Just look up specific instructions. It's very easy. And you can make milk kefir at home. You can drink it straight up. My kids love flavored milk kefir and they'll drink it just like that. We also will add it to smoothies instead of milk. You can make kefir pancakes. You can make kefir ranch. You can actually use it to really like sour anything. So like instead of using a sourdough starter in certain recipes, you could just substitute kefir. And again, anytime you're consuming it, you're gonna be getting those beneficial bacteria down in your gut. Same name, but totally different end product, and that is water kefir, which is probably hands down my favorite fermented drink. You can also find this in the store, usually under the brand name Kavita. But again, you can make this at home too. You can buy the water kefir grains one time and you can reuse them over and over and make continuous batches of water kefir. I love water kefir because the end product literally tastes like soda. You add some kind of fruit juice. We prefer grape juice in our house and it basically makes grape soda. It doesn't taste really any different. It's sweet, it's fizzy, it's got that carbonation, it's so refreshing, but it is packed with those beneficial microbes that are actually actively supporting our guts when we drink it versus soda, which is actively deteriorating your health. Another fermented drink that's very popular, this is even easier to find in local stores, is kombucha. This is another one that you can make at home. You just need it's called a SCOBY, which is like your starter, which is what actually ferments the sweet tea into kombucha. We've also made this at home many times. I'm currently have a batch going right now. It's very similar to water kefir, but it does have that vinegary taste to it, so it is a little bit different. Water kefir, I think, is more widely accepted by most palates because it's just sweet and bubbly, whereas kombucha has that vinegary bite to it. But either way, it's going to be providing those healthy microbes that are going to support your gut health and your overall health versus soda, which is just actively deteriorating your health. Next, let's talk fermented vegetables. Probably the hands down most popular, but also simplest and most foolproof to prepare at home would be sauerkraut. This can also be purchased at pretty much any local grocery store, but I will caution you two things. One, sometimes you're gonna find sauerkraut that has added sugar in it, which is not the end of the world. However, personally, I think sweetened sauerkraut tastes really gross. I'm sure there's people out there who love it, but I will say if you've tried sauerkraut and you did not like it, make sure you've tried it unsweetened. So when I prepare sauerkraut, there's no sugar added, and I think that the end result tastes fairly close to pickles. So if you like pickles, you probably are going to like sauerkraut. And if you are making it at home, you're going to save so much money. In my local grocery store, the last I've checked, it might even be higher now, a small little bag of sauerkraut is like $7, maybe close to $8 last time I checked. And I can make probably quadruple that amount, maybe even more for like the cost of a head or two of cabbage, which is just a few dollars. All you need is the cabbage and the salt, and you can make sauerkraut. And again, this is something that can be added to meals. I love it as a side dish. I dump it on top of a lot of meals, and it's just going to provide those live active bacteria to support my gut. But when it comes to vegetables, I mean, really there's no limit to what you can ferment. Another most popular option is homemade lacto-fermented pickles. So you can buy pickles at the store. The vast majority though are going to be made in just a vinegar brine. They are not actually fermented. You can find lacto-fermented pickles. They're always refrigerated at the store. There are also pickles that are refrigerated that are made in a vinegar brine. So you do need to look specifically for lacto-fermented pickles. But again, they can also be made at home. I like to make mine with cucumbers, obviously some salt. I like to buy pre-assembled pickling spice from Azure because it just makes my life a lot easier. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of fresh dill. You just put all that in a jar with some water, let it ferment for a few days, and you will not only have delicious, tasty pickles, but they are also going to be actively supporting the health of your gut as well. And another one I wanted to mention that I feel like is also lesser known, but also so easy is apple cider vinegar. This is fermented. As long as you're buying it with the mother, that means it has those live active cultures in it. Now you could technically just drink it straight up. Some people do that. Don't put me down for that. But I do like to use it. One of the easiest ways is in a salad dressing because it's going on raw. It's going to have all of those active microbes in it. You just pair it with a little olive oil, a little salt, a little pepper, Dijon mustard, mix it all up and pour it over your favorite salad or mixed greens. And it's just another easy way to get it in without having to really do anything extra. And that is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to fermented foods. There are so many options out there, all of which are delicious. So find the ones that your taste buds love the most and incorporate them into your everyday eating. Our ancestors used to eat fermented foods every single day, and a lot of that was because they had to preserve the summer harvest. So they couldn't have fresh cabbage all year long, but they could turn it into sauerkraut and it could sit all year in their cellar and they could eat from it all year. So just like our ancestors, we want to be intentional about getting these fermented foods every day. Maybe take a probiotic too, because hey, again, it can't hurt, it can only help, but you can get so much through delicious food. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you look it up, go ahead and hop on Google. There are so many fermented foods from so many wonderful different cultures around the world. Another piece of wisdom from our ancestors is consuming foods that are going to help build up the lining of our intestine. And that is typically consuming collagen-rich foods. So whether you are consuming or drinking bone broth, which is something that used to be an absolute staple in ancestral diets, or you are slow roasting or stewing bone-in meats where the collagen is going to have time to kind of break out of those bones and seep into the meat that you'll consume, or you're eating, all of your meat with the skin on, which is collagen rich. This is just another way that they would consume food or prepare food in a way that was actively supporting the gut. Now, whether you get it from food or you get it from a collagen supplement, that is just one other way to really help like the true building blocks of the tissues in the lining of your gut, because they're made up of mostly collagen. It's the most abundant protein in the body. That's just one other way that you can be intentional with your diet to support and bolster up that healthy gut. I hope that you guys have learned something new from this video, and I most importantly hope you are walking away feeling inspired to really support this very, very crucial system in your body through food, of all things. Eating real, nourishing food has such an impact, not only on how you feel in the present moment, your energy, your vitality, your vibrancy, but it also has such lasting, profound impacts on your lifelong health and longevity. And when you think about just how often we eat, food is such a high input factor in our health. So we can consume a lot of foods that are going to be nutrient rich and nourishing and really support all the different areas of our body that are working so hard year after year. And like I said in the beginning of this video, food is such a source of satisfaction and pleasure, and it really is such a unique opportunity where we get to support our health all day, every day through foods that we love. So I hope you guys are feeling inspired and excited to incorporate more of these staple ancestral foods into your diet if you haven't already, so that you can really improve your health and how you feel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If there are any other nutrition specific topics you would like for me to cover in a video and give you guys real food, ideas or implications on how to really improve your health through eating, I would love those suggestions, because you guys know I could sit here and talk about nutrition all day long because it is one of my true passions in life. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you will subscribe if you are new around here, if you love hearing about and being inspired when it comes to healthy eating, real food, and supporting your body from a holistic standpoint. Thank you again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.